Hello, everyone. Welcome to the A&B podcast, where two blokes chat about some of the entertainment news that has occurred over the last week. I'm Alex Winfield, and I'm joined by the man who can, Burkan.
Hello, everybody, once again.
Did you like my intro?
I did. It was fantastic. You've been working on that all week, haven't you?
No, I kind of made that up on the spot. How have you been?
I've been very, very good. How about yourself?
I've been marvellous. Did you have a good VE day?
It was all right, not too bad. Bit of chilling in the garden, you know. What about yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. I think that was the day everyone broke these social distancing
Yeah.
rules, wasn't it?
I went on a walk and it kind of looked like that.
Yeah. Everyone was having these garden parties. I went to one, but everyone out at the start was like really far apart, and everyone slowly grew closer together. But me and my family were slowly having to like constantly back up.
Brilliant.
We were like, hang on now.
I think a lot of people were playing charades as well, or something like that.
Yeah, just look at the daily cases. They're going to go up in 2 weeks when all the Simpsons start, showing.
Exactly.
But apart from that, yeah, it's pretty good.
Good.
Yeah, that's why this episode is just a day later, because we were. Well, I don't know about you, but I was so busy, literally from like 8 a.m. till 10 p.m. last night. I had no time to get around to doing it. The podcast is,
and I'm always available.
That's your OnlyFans name.
Yeah,
always
basically. Yeah. Don't get many hits.
Yeah, just doing the helicopter 24/7. Eventually, somebody will find it.
Brilliant. Oh,
but lovely segue from that to this, and by that I mean no segue at all. Have you been watching anything this week?
I haven't been watching
Not
any.
OnlyFans, I hope.
No. I haven't been watching anything in terms of movies, but I have lately been getting into quite a few TV shows. But otherwise, yeah, nothing much else. What about you?
Yeah, it's been kind of like a slower week for me. I've watched only 3. I watched Bad Education, which was this new HBO movie with a huge jacked man, Hugh Jackman, playing this bit. It's about this true story of this giant embezzlement case in this American school where everyone was stealing money from the school and spending it on their own stuff, and how someone who worked for the school newspaper like discovered it and kind of broke this story, and it ended up being like national news.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It was really good. And then the same evening, my brother was like, "Hey, do you want to watch Venom?" And I was like, "Sure, why not? I'll stick it on for you," because he doesn't know how to pilot a TV, and I just accidentally ended up sitting there for another 2 hours.
Fair. Yes.
That film's something. It's something.
It is something. I think Sony thought the same thing with their marketing.
Yeah, I love Tom Hardy in it. Tom Hardy's in a completely other film to everyone else.
Yes, very, very true.
Everyone's in a proper serious film, and he's like in some weird carry-on comedy.
Yeah, well, that's actually a pretty funny concept idea for a movie, for someone to do that.
Yeah.
I quite like that.
Yeah. And then finally I watched The Spy Who Loved Me, the James Bond one.
Oh, you got around to another
slowly
one.
getting there. Yeah, slowly getting there. Jules is in this one now. He's like a 7-foot tall man with metal teeth. And he just bites your neck.
How offensive is this one?
You know what? It's slowly getting there. Although they did go to Egypt, and everyone's wearing turbans now, so you can imagine the kind of comments James Bond was making.
Jeez.
And I'm like, Roger, stop. Please, you're making yourself look bad here.
Has he been getting around? I hear Roger Moore gets around.
That's the thing. I'm like, how many diseases is this James Bond carrying?
A lot.
Like, if he goes to the doctors and they say, sorry, you've got something, the phone book he's going to have to go through when he has to call back all his previous partners. They're like, just to let you know,
see,
you might have this.
That reminds me, back in college, I made friends via, basically, we had this poster.
Where is this going?
We had a poster of Quantum of Solace, and this was on the very first day, and we all gathered around looking at it. And I went randomly, how would you guys kill James Bond? And everybody pitched ideas. And I was like, you give him AIDS. That's how you do it. That's how you win.
Yeah.
But oh,
Mad.
mad.
Good old James Bond. Hopefully, we get to see that one that's coming out later this year.
Oh yeah, I
So
forgot
I was
about
really
that.
looking forward to that. I
Like,
was really looking forward to it, and then they took it away from me.
I forgot that was this year.
Yeah, yeah. But speaking of stuff to look forward to, Birkin, I know you're really looking forward to this because you love Star Wars, don't you?
Oh
And
yeah.
are you? I think are you looking forward to more Star Wars?
Do you want an honest answer or a fake answer?
Well, it doesn't matter because it's coming anyway. So it's been announced that Taika Waititi is now officially directing and co-writing a new Star Wars movie. So the rumors of this sort of began in about January that he was like involved in another Star Wars project after like working on the Mandalorian. He like directed the last episode of that. But now it's like official. There's no word on what it's going to be about, when it's set, or when it will be out. But Christy Wilson Cairns, I think is her name. She co-wrote 1917. She's also going to be writing the project with him. What's funny about this is there are now 4 Star Wars films in the works now. So you got Rian Johnson's Star Wars film, Kevin Feige's Star Wars film, J.D. Dillard's Star Wars film, and now this. There's a good chance that this is probably the film that Kevin Feige will also produce. There are currently 3 Star Wars dates in the future that were meant to be the films that were going to be written and produced by the Game of Thrones writers, but since they've left, those dates are now like open for grabs. And that was December 2022, 2024, 2026. Do you think this is actually going to happen?
Yes, because Disney wants more money.
But also, I think because they've actually announced it now,
Mhm.
I think it might actually happen. I can't wait. 2 months from now, they're going to announce that he's left over creative differences. Like everyone else, that's like the whole process now, isn't it? You get hired, you leave 2 months later, and then they actually make it.
Do you get paid during that period or not?
I don't think so. I don't know. I have no idea, but I would think not.
Because you could be in for a really good payday. Sign on, and then be like, "Yeah, I'm leaving now."
Yeah, like I wonder if Colin Trevorrow got any like royalties from the Rise of Skywalker. Like if they left like a little bit of his original script in there.
Yeah.
Like does he get? I don't know. Does he get anything from that? I'm not sure. I know Steven Spielberg. I can't. Even then, I said it wrong.
That.
I know he still gets money from Star Wars.
Okay.
Because him and George Lucas.
Yeah.
Because they were like best buds. They were like they made a bet. They were like George Lucas will get us like a small percentage of whatever Close Encounters of the Third Kind makes, and Spielberg will make a small percentage of whatever Star Wars makes. And they thought it was like a joke because they thought Star Wars was going to bomb and Close Encounters was going to be the huge film, and then it ended up being like the other way around. And I know Spielberg's made like millions from that deal.
Half those millions should go to John Williams. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. But yeah, do you think this is probably going to be the one that Kevin Feige also works with? I mean, they've worked together before because Taika Waititi, did Thor, and he also plays Korg, and so he's worked with Kevin Feige before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. It also really depends on the tone they're going for, because obviously his films tend to be a bit more lighthearted, but at the same time they are bringing in a writer from 1917. So I genuinely wonder how that's going to mesh.
Yeah, well, I mean, in his non-Marvel related stuff like Hunt for the Wilder People and
that's a good movie.
The most recent one,
that's very good.
Jojo Rabbit, they're like comedy, but there's always like 1 or 2 scenes where it gets really, really sad for like a minute, and he's good at doing that. He's definitely good at playing with emotions, even though he has got a very odd kind of sense of humor. And he's shown it with The Mandalorian that he can do it, he knows how to sort of write and direct this stuff. Like he's not completely new to this world. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. I do think this will actually happen because Rian Johnson's one, it's looking less and less likely with every day now that it's not going to happen. You know, that was announced back in like 2016, 2017, and then we just heard nothing.
I think Ryan Johnson should just stick to whodunits and not make anything else. Personally,
Well, he's doing Knives Out too.
see, I'm happy about
That's
that
the thing.
because I didn't
Yeah.
like, I don't really like his movies. Don't get me wrong, but Knives Out was fantastic, and I can say it on air. That was brilliant. Keep doing more stuff like that, and I'm happy.
Yeah. Do you think this will be out in 2022 though? When that initial date was?
I think it really depends on how this whole virus stuff goes down and how well.
Do you think that maybe the reaction to Rise of Skywalker might make them want to push it back a little bit to sort of maybe reevaluate what it is they want to do with this franchise?
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I mean, because obviously they have got the Mandalorian as well to fill any gaps and everything as well. So you could always buy time with that, and then obviously bring out a big Star Wars movie of some kind. Like personally, I'm a bit burnt out of Star Wars, but bringing in this director is a good move. It does make me go a little bit more like interest in it. If that makes sense. But we will have to see how well it goes, obviously, and what the casting will be as well. Are we going to see Chris Hemsworth back?
Well, he's definitely Taika Waititi definitely like reuses a lot of his cast, so I think he's probably going to be in it.
I wouldn't be surprised.
He's probably going to be just like a stormtrooper or something like that. I hope it's like so detached from all of that though.
Yeah. I hope it's
I want it to
like
be something completely different.
I hope it's either in the past or in the further in the future. Personally, just because obviously we have this new trilogy, but the technology doesn't feel like it's like developed at all. Like they're still using TIE fighters and X-wings, and I'm like, how many years has it been? Has things not like developed?
Yeah.
But we'll have to see, obviously, where they go with it. But otherwise, we're here for the journey, even if you don't want to be. Disney have said you're sitting, and we're taking it.
Well, you know what's in Star Wars?
What's in Star Wars?
Space. Do you know what else is going to be in space soon? Tom Cruise.
Oh, good segue that.
So this was like this was like a weird headline that surprised no one. In that, so it's been announced that Tom Cruise is filming the world's first action movie in space. So he's going to be 1,200 miles above Earth, and Elon Musk's SpaceX rocket is going to help him get there. And NASA have confirmed that shooting's going to take place aboard the International Space Station. Surprising enough, this isn't going to be in Mission Impossible. This is not Mission Impossible. I thought when I first heard that, that's going to be like because I knew they're going to do 7 and 8 almost back to back, and that's probably going to be the end of it. There's no studios attached to it yet because it's so early on, but that's also probably because of insurance. Imagine. And it's probably most likely going to be like a segment of the film. I can't imagine the whole movie being out there because that's going to take weeks, and you've got to get like the runners up there, get the sound, and assistant directors up in space.
Doesn't time go slower in space? So obviously, faster. Obviously, if he's up there and he comes down, we've all like aged by 5 years. Like, is that not how that works?
He's not aging to begin with, isn't he? So I mean, that's going to change stuff.
Yeah, but we would have all aged, right? Surely.
I know.
See, because
so I remember someone like threw a coin off the Empire State Building, and there was someone on the floor and someone at the top, and they timed it at the same time, and there was like nanoseconds of different. Because the further away you are from the center of gravity, the time moves. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking when I heard the headline. I was like, but surely if he's up there for say a year, that for us is going to feel like 2-3 years, right?
Oh no, it's not going to be like that.
No?
It's not going to be like that. No, because there's people in the International Space Station right now.
True.
So I mean, it's not like that. I think you'd have to be around like a black hole or something. I don't know how that type of stuff works, but
no idea.
Yeah, James Cameron once floated the idea of filming a movie in space with Tom Cruise like years ago, but it went silent. But I feel like if anyone's going to do it, it's got to be him.
True.
But I am not surprised whatsoever that Tom Cruise is going to space.
Do you reckon they'll take Elon Musk's kid up there? A12 whatever his name is.
Potentially, potentially. But yeah, I feel like because Tom Cruise is like 57 years old now, I think and you could definitely see it with the new Mission Impossibles that he's trying to kind of like leave a legacy,
Yeah,
because I think he's realizing that he's not, of course, as able bodied now as he was when he was like 25. So I think he's just trying to make as many landmarks as he can before it's a bit too late.
yeah,
Because and even like 100 years from now, people will be like, "Oh, Tom Cruise, first person to shoot a film in space."
yeah. Uh,
I'm curious to see if it's actually going to happen, because I don't know who's going to insure this film. you know, in case like Tom Cruise gets sucked out or something. I
I'm
don't know.
genuinely excited to see how this goes.
Yeah, thing is, I can fully see him doing it. That's the
Yeah.
thing. I'm surprised it hasn't been done already, because it was always the debate: what's going to go to space first, Mission Impossible or Fast and Furious?
Well, whichever it is, it's Tom
But
Cruise.
yeah. But yeah, I'm interested to see how it's gonna work, because he's doing crazy stuff now. Like, even in 2011, he climbed up the Burj Khalifa in Dubai,
Hmm.
and then he held onto the side of a plane whilst it took off in Mission Impossible 5, and then he did like everything in Mission Impossible 6. Like, he broke his ankle like leaping across buildings, and then even in The Mummy, he did that whole zero gravity stunt stuff in a plane in midair.
Jesus.
So he's been doing crazy stuff, yeah. But speaking of famous actors, everyone loves the actors of Spider-Man,
Yes.
and since I guess the creation of the Spider-Verse, um, everyone's kind of since that's kind of been just a thing in general. Lots of people have wanted that to sort of be adapted and have the crossover of Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland all in one film. You know, well, the writers of Into the Spider-Verse actually pitched this idea to the producers at Sony, that Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland would all be in a scene together with Spider-Ham in the Into the Spider-Verse movie. But Sony axed it, saying that it was too soon, because saying that because Tom Holland only had one film out at the time, and it was only like a year old. So I guess they wanted more time to sort of establish him.
Yeah.
But it could potentially happen in 2022 in that sequel. But yeah, what do you think about that actually almost being a thing?
I'm really disappointed it wasn't. Like, that would have been
Because
incredible.
I feel like that's the only way you can do it. I feel like if you did it in live action, it might be a bit silly. I feel like this is the only way you can do it, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, it's also Into the Spider-Verse has a really good tone to it. Even though it's got that
Yeah.
silliness and quirkiness to it, it's still got those serious messages. And like
Mm,
you say, animation, I agree. Animation is the best way to do this without it coming
mm.
across like hokey.
Also, Tobey Maguire's like in his 40s now. I don't think he wants to get into that physique again.
Oh god.
I don't think he wants to get into that physique. But I mean, I really hope they do it though. I think that'd be so cool.
It would be very cool. I could see it being an after credit thing, to be honest.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been surprised if that did appear in the first one. Like, there was definitely something in my head where I'm like, oh, are they going to do that?
Yeah,
You
I
know?
remember we were talking about it as well.
Yeah. But I'd love to see it happen. I'm so excited for that sequel, because that first one it's way better than it has any right to be. You
Yeah,
know?
that's the thing. Because when we went to see it, I was like completely blown away around like how amazing it was. Like it had everything from like its comic book style to the writing, to the voice acting, everything.
Because I mean, it looked cool from the trailers, but I didn't really think much of it, because it's animated, and I don't really watch a lot of animated stuff, so I kind of just wrote it off. But then when I saw the reviews coming out, I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'll check this out. And then when we saw it, I didn't know it was going to be as godly as it was.
Yeah,
You know?
that's the thing. It's good that we were pleasantly surprised with something wonderful, and hopefully, when we do get the sequel, that it continues to be wonderful and not, milk too heavily.
That's why. I mean, I'm glad they've taken some time, but 4 years is mad.
It is a long time. It is
4 years. Yeah,
But you can't
comes out in 2022.
rush
Yeah.
perfection, as they say.
Well, do you know what else comes out in 2022, Birkin?
What else comes out in 2022?
Well, the last time we spoke, I think it was in the last episode as well, we spoke about how Matrix 4 and John Wick 4 were coming out on the same day.
Yes, I remember. They
And
got
we were hoping it would be a big Keanu day,
yes.
you know, but we thought one of them would probably get pushed.
I think one of
But
them
turns out
did, didn't they?
it's John Wick. John Wick
Yeah.
4 has been pushed to May 2022, and Matrix 4 is still coming out in May 2021. But the John Wick spin-off, The Ballerina, however, is moving forward. Have you heard about this?
I knew about the Continental being a TV series, and then I heard something about the ballerina, but I didn't look too much
Yeah.
into it.
Have you seen John Wick 3, haven't you?
Obviously, my friend.
Yeah. So yeah, the sort of the ballerina hitman agency that's featured in that.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, shortly after the third film came out, it was announced that they want to do a spin-off focusing on that. So here's some info about that film called The Ballerina. So the name of the titular character is Rooney Brown, who is an orphan that grew up within the ballerina crime family in John Wick 3. Rooney is a trained global killer, but exhibits a strict moral code and won't kill anyone she believes doesn't deserve death. The spin-off will focus on Rooney coming out of retirement to target a rival organization that slaughtered her family. So it's very similar to the first one, having to come out of retirement for revenge. But people are saying Chloe Grace Moretz is being eyed to be the ballerina. What do you think of that?
That sounds pretty cool. I won't lie. I mean, she's
Just hit
girl,
girl.
so
Yeah,
it's a pretty good
yeah,
audition, if you ask me.
yeah. I think it'd be really cool. This is that John Wick universe was so interesting.
Yeah.
There's loads of different corners that you could take. That's why I think they're working at a snail's pace, but I am excited for that Continental show, whatever they do with it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I'm very excited. That world is absolutely amazing to the point where it genuinely feels like a video game, but isn't.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does feel like a video game. Yeah. There's no word on when it will come out or if it will come out before John Wick 4 or after John Wick 4. I wouldn't be surprised if they rush this, not rush it, but speed run it and they get it out before then.
Yeah.
Because I kind of would like John Wick 4 to take. I want there to be some time in between 3 and 4 because you know how the first 3 they take place one right after another.
Yeah.
You know,
I remember. Yeah.
So I don't know how long you can really keep that up for because if it's set the next day, but Keanu Reeves is getting older, so if he's aging drastically in between days, then isn't he? Even though I know he doesn't age all that much, eventually it's going to catch up.
What do we know the Continental TV show? What TV program it's going to be on, TV channel?
I don't know. You know what? I will look it up right now.
Yeah.
The Continental. Oh, here we go. TV
Stars,
program.
right?
Let's have a look. Stars. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
This is a pretty good network, if you ask me. Stars is all right.
Mm-hmm.
They've got American Gods on there as well, which is a very good show. Which also stars Ian McShane, who plays Winston.
Oh. Yeah. Ian McShane is everywhere now, isn't he?
Oh, he's a brilliant actor. I love him.
He's just kind of appeared everywhere. He's had a renaissance.
Yeah, exactly. He would always reminds me of what you call it? Kind of a bit like Anthony Hopkins in a way. I don't know why, but I always get that vibe.
Do you follow Anthony Hopkins on any social media?
I don't. I presume you do.
Oh. He posted a video of him doing a TikTok dance yesterday on Instagram.
Sounds amazing.
It was so good. I always took him as some very serious Shakespearean guy, because that's what I see him in at least. And then you go on his social media, and it's just him painting, and it's him taking selfies with his dog.
Amazing.
Him doing TikTok dances and all that. It's proper funny.
He's one of the useful people.
He is, yeah. Oh, but Right, how am I going to transition this? Give me a moment. Well,
Great.
speaking of death,
What?
with it in John Wick, death in John Wick. Do you know where people die in war? And do you know where this war takes place in the stars? Um, moving into television news now.
Good.
I'm getting proper good at this, aren't
Good save. Good save.
I? This was pretty breaking news. This happened like earlier today. It's a good thing that we push this off another day. So for the Mandalorian TV show, Boba Fett is set to make an appearance in season 2. He's going to be played by, and I do apologize for this because I can't say this first name, Tamura Morrison, who played Jango Fett in the prequels and also dubbed over Boba Fett's line in the special editions of the original trilogy. Apparently, it's only going to be a small role, but it's kind of divided the fan base a little bit because you got some people who are saying it's really good to see Boba Fett back. However, other people think it's not the best idea as they're sort of once again relying on a familiar face, which till now they didn't really do a lot of. Apart from there was that one episode where the whole thing was set on Tatooine, but apart from that, it's kind of been like a whole new thing. But what are your thoughts on this?
Disney and nostalgia name a better combo. I'll wait.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the thing is, though, I've never quite got the whole Boba Fett thing because he doesn't do anything. He's famous purely for the way he looks, and that's about it. Before, the same was like with Darth Maul until like relatively recently.
Yeah, no, that is a very good point. I mean, obviously, with his appearance, he does look like an intriguing character, and there is something that people want to explore there. But at the same time, he hasn't done anything. Like,
yeah. Do you think this is like going to be the first live action version where they pretty much confirm he did survive the Sarlacc pit?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we might see how he gets out? We're going to see a flashback to Return of the Jedi?
Potentially. It might just they might just mention it and then just kind of move past it. Because obviously Disney's all about rewriting canon, so maybe that just didn't happen. Let's just say that.
Yeah, yeah. But what do you think like the dynamic's going to be?
It's going to be really weird. Like, because obviously you've already got a lead character, which is its own thing, and I feel like maybe Disney should just let it be its own thing. Like, you don't have to.
Do you think that he's going to be? Do you think he's going to be a villain? Because he kind of had a villainous role in the original trilogy, but he's also like he's a Mandalorian. So is he going to be a bad guy, or because so far we've only seen kind of good Mandalorians, haven't we? In season 1, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely depends on what sort of storyline they go down. Because obviously, you could always have it that he's the bad guy, or maybe he's working for someone else, something like that. Or it could genuinely mean that there's a bounty hunter's code or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be interesting because the last time we saw him, he was working for Jabba the Hutt.
Jabba?
Well, he was working for the Empire, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Through Jabba the Hutt. So now the Empire's gone. Like, what's he doing?
Just chilling, bro.
He's Jay chilling.
Yeah, he's just watching The Mandalorian on Netflix. That's what he's doing.
He's watching the Disney Plus, I think you mean.
Oh yes, that's a good point. My bad.
But yeah, I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with it, and I hope it's not like I'm glad they said it's like a small role. It's not gonna be like a big thing. But that was like the only real big TV news. What have you been watching TV news? TV news wise, what have you been watching TV wise?
TV wise, I recently finished The Boys, and now I've just got back into season 2 of Dead to Me.
What is Dead to Me?
So, from what I remember in season 1, it's been a while. It was basically 2 women who have had both their husbands supposedly have passed away, and they kind of have a friendship in that sense, and they get close to each other. But the show isn't like your classic, it's just 2 people who are just becoming friends, blah blah blah. There's a bunch of twists in it. There's loads and loads of twists. Like, it's a very fun show. I definitely recommend it.
Is it made by M. Night Shyamalan?
It's not made by Shyamalan. But Um, it does star what's his name? The guy from Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't know his name.
Is it Sonic the Hedgehog?
No, it's the other dude, James Marsden, I think his name.
James Marsden.
That's the one. Yeah, he's in that.
Jim Carrey.
Yeah. As well as Linda something. I can't remember their names. Give me a second.
Linda Hamilton.
No,
Sarah
no,
Connor.
no, not Sarah Connor. It has Christina Applegate. I think that's her name. Is it? Yeah, Christina.
Okay, well the name rings a bell.
Yeah, Christina Applegate from Anchorman. It's got
Oh yes,
yeah.
I know who you mean.
Linda Cardellini, who plays Hawkeye's wife in the Avengers.
Oh, Velma.
Yeah, oh yeah, Velma.
That's who I think people know her from most.
Yes, good point. But yeah, it's basically just about these two women where one of them has lost their husband, and through tragic loss, they bond. But then there's a load of twists and like stuff go wrong, kind of thing. It's more of like a thriller, I would say. It's definitely very fun to watch. I definitely recommend it. So far, season 2 has taken quite a cool twist, and I'm very excited to see where it goes. What about?
Is this new? Like, did this just come out then?
So
season 2.
The first season came out last year around the same time.
Okay.
I actually binged it, and the weird thing about it is that it's 30 minutes per episode, which is very strange considering that's usually what you expect out of a sitcom. But this isn't a sitcom; it's like a drama, so it's very confusing in that sense that the episodes are so short. But it's a thrill. It's a definite thrill.
I finished the first season at least over the last few days. I started it like 4 days ago and watched the first season of The Last Kingdom.
Oh, yes.
Have you ever heard of it?
I have.
Yeah, it's on Netflix because I know season 4 just came out and I was like, I need to watch this show. And after the talk of AC Valhalla last week, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to watch this show now because I'm in the mood for that. And it's really interesting. It's weird seeing a lot of Winchester in there, which is where, you and I lived for like 3 years going to university there. So it's really bizarre. And because, there's a big old statue of King Alfred in that city centre. So seeing like, the live action version and seeing the kind of stuff he did. But it's really cool. It's about sort of like this Anglo-Saxon kid who's sort of kidnapped and raised by the Vikings, or they're referred to as Danes. And that he's raised by them almost as like a slave, but then almost as like a surrogate son. And so he has like the Viking look at the long hair and like, the facial hair and all that. But then through a series of events, he's kind of in debt to King Alfred, and he ends up trying to help them hunt the Vikings down. And it's really quite interesting, like what that dynamic was like.
Is it similar to Vikings?
I haven't watched that show, but my brother has. But apparently, according to him, it does touch on very similar sort of topics.
Okay,
like when it comes to the invasion of England and all that.
Yeah, because I know it's from 2 different studios. Because I think Vikings is on Amazon Prime, right?
And Lost Kingdom's on Netflix. Yeah. And I think they just had the problem of being made at the exact same time.
Which one's ahead though, season wise?
I think Vikings has got like another. I think that's 5-6 seasons.
Yeah,
and whereas season 4 of Last Kingdom like just came out.
So does Last Kingdom touch upon Odin and everything like that? Do they get mentioned, or is it just like
they get mentioned briefly? Like they talk a lot about how religion definitely plays a big part of it, because people back then were so religious focused, and how a lot of the time it's almost putting it down, how it's like you see lots of Anglo-Saxons, people like praying to God and all that, and then just nothing happens. But then some stuff like someone will pray for something and then coincidentally that thing happens, and then how that culture affected the world then. It was really interesting, And you had people would be sent as hostages into the Viking, like priests would be sent as hostages to Viking sort of camps, almost as like a bargaining tool, and they would like see if they could persuade these pagans to try and move over to Christianity. It was really interesting stuff.
Yeah, because it's the paganism and Catholicism, isn't it? It's that kind of
Yeah,
combo where they
yeah,
paths. Yeah, no, that's the thing. I'd have to definitely check it out because I am a little bit of a history buff, so
yeah.
that's
It is
definitely on the
very yeah.
list.
It's very interesting, and that's what I'm interested in about. We'll probably talk about it in a bit with the new AC. Is that the Vikings? They're not good guys. You know,
Yeah,
the Saxons probably weren't great themselves. You know, I'm sure they probably did bad stuff just to each other, but I find it odd that we're playing as some guy who's just going to come over and just kill the. That would be like the equivalent of making a game where you play as a British soldier coming over to America and just killing the natives. You know, that's
oh, yeah,
it'd be it's kind of odd. But I'm sure that's not what it's going to be about entirely. But yeah, it's an odd one.
there's another one.
But
And that being said, obviously we were talking about Assassin's Creed, and what is Assassin's Creed?
well, it depends on who you are. Some people say it's pretty okay. It's a game.
It is a game. And speaking of games, what have you been playing, my friend, lately? We have to get better at this.
You know what? I had this urge, right? That sounded a bit odd out of context,
Yep.
but to jump back into Red Dead Redemption 2.
Okay, yeah.
And I've restarted it because about a year ago, maybe even a year and a half ago. No, about a year ago, I had this problem where my PS4 went into safety mode.
Oh, right. Okay.
And almost everything got wiped.
Oh.
You know?
Oh,
and so I lost a lot of stuff. Now I have this feature on where it automatically saves all your auto saves and every save into the cloud.
Yeah.
Whereas before I was doing that manually. So now it's doing it automatically. So that, fingers crossed, that shouldn't ever happen again. Even if I do lose my data, I should just be able to re-download it.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I lost was Red Dead Redemption 2. And for a long time I was like, I love this game. It's probably the best game ever made. But because it's so big, I was too intimidated to go back in. I was like, I can't be asked.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing.
But I was like, you know what? No, I want, because but it's probably the best story in a game. Definitely, I think it is the best game ever made. And I was like, I'm going to jump back into it. And it's got me hook, line, and sinker. So I'm all in back in there. It's so good. It's so good.
Best story ever. That's a bold statement.
I think it is. I think it is. It's the length of 6 seasons of Game of Thrones.
See,
just the story alone.
I definitely agree with you in the sense that it's a very good story. Personally, I don't know what I would say is the best story in a game. I'd have to have a really deep think on that. Maybe we'll cover that next week. But my main issue with Red Dead 2 is some of the missions do feel like chores. Where, because I was thinking about replaying it, and then you have the mission with the natives and everything, and I'm just there I really don't want to play that stuff again. Because the native stuff in that story is so dull. But it is a fantastic game. It is, a beautifully made game. Yes, it's slightly long in places, but the core story itself is not bad. It's a very well written game. There's a great character development.
Yeah, I completely forgot how deep that world is.
Mm-hmm.
Just how they'll record dialogue or a conversation for something so specific, that you would never think to record or dialogue for. If you just hang, if they say, "Okay, we're gonna go in a mission," Dutch will be like, "Okay, Arthur, come on then." And then if you just loiter around for a minute, people just, you'll start having a conversation with Javier about it, stuff like that. Or just an NPC, someone you'll randomly ride past someone and they're having a domestic with somebody else. And then you can come back 5 minutes later and interact with that person and have just a regular chat with that. They've put stuff in there that most people are just going to breeze right past.
Yeah.
How it really feels like that world is alive, if that makes sense. It feels like it almost exists whilst you're not there.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. There's a great amount of detail in the world. It was the same with Red Dead 1 as well.
Yeah.
Did you ever find Gavin?
Can you actually find him?
No, you can't.
No.
It's just some English guy running around looking for Gavin.
Yeah, because I remember when I first went to Saint Denis and the first time I played it, and just hearing this guy going, "Gavin, have you seen Gavin?" And I couldn't find him anywhere, like the bloke who was saying it.
See, I always thought Gavin might have been the guy who was in the prison, like under the store, but
Mm.
I don't know if it is him or not. But as far as I'm aware, you can't actually find Gavin.
What I found interesting, like, and I can't believe I missed it the first time because it's so obvious, but and spoilers for Red Dead 2, obviously. Um, you know what happens to Arthur?
Uh-huh.
He gets tuberculosis, and you know how he gets it, don't you?
Yes, I do.
From the debt collector.
There's a lot of
From
foreshadow.
yeah. Well, when you first go to Valentine and you get into that bar fight and you get chucked out the window.
Yes.
And you have that scrap in the mud. The guy who breaks it up is the guy who you get. I almost said coronavirus. Who you get tuberculosis from?
I'm serious.
Yeah, and he's in the village, like he's in Valentine. Until that, I haven't done that mission yet, where you go and attack him. But he is just there, and he's got like his own little stall, and he's like, "Please donate to the orphans and all that kind of thing." And you go up to him and you can talk to him, and he's like coughing non-stop. And I'm just like, how did I just not pick up on this? Like, this is like playing through it the second time. I'm like, this is the most blatant foreshadowing I've ever seen in my life. But it seems like that seems to have gone past like everybody,
That's actually really cool. I actually really like that.
Yeah, like he's in Valentine and he's got his own little stall, and you could just go and chat with him, and you can kind of like, even when you speak to him, he's like, "Oh, you think you're so good, huh? You think you're above everybody else?" Because he's like got his own little charity thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's super interesting. It's really cool.
The main reason why I like that, it now kind of makes me think about generally in life how you can just like run into someone like that, and then they might just pop up later on in your life, that kind of thing. So like you might just see somebody in a store, and then 5 years down the line, they might become your best mate. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Generally, I'm quite amazed by that. But personally, I have been taking this time to play Cities Skyline, which is a free game which is available via PlayStation Plus, where you literally just make your own city. That's all you do.
Yeah, well, that's cool though. I've always wanted to give one of those a go.
Yeah, it's my main thing with it is that I basically turn on all the cheats because I can't be bothered to do the missions. So what I do is I throw Netflix on in the background and I play this game at the same time, building my city because it doesn't really require any brain power, and that's all I do. I'm building my city and watching my Netflix show at the same time. Easy days.
Yeah. Yeah, but I've always wanted to give one of those a go. I think the closest I got was playing the Sims Facebook game.
Oh, yes, yes.
No, not Sims. It might have been, it was either Civilization, sorry.
Oh, Civilization. That's completely a different
Civilization Facebook game. Yeah. Well, you can build a city, you can build stuff,
that's very true.
I've always found those interesting, though. Yeah.
It does, pass the time in a quarantine. It doesn't really require any effort on your end either, really, other than sorting out traffic. But otherwise, speaking of PlayStation, the latest exclusive trailer for PlayStation's next big hit, The Last of Us 2, has recently dropped. This is the next trailer. Yeah, I think it dropped a couple of days ago. I personally have not seen it because I am completely in the dark now, as I have paid a lot of money for this game. But you, my friend, I believe have seen it.
I did watch it because I was curious as to how they were just even going to go about it. And they turned off the like-dislike bar, and they turned off the comments section. No, but that's understandable, though.
Yeah, of course.
And I thought it was really good. The trailer, it got me pumped. They show like a bit more. They show a lot more of Joel, and they have like a little few clips of them talking. They show a very brief flashback from Last of Us 1, but with the graphics of Last of Us 2.
Ooh, that's cool.
They've recreated a part of Last of Us 1 with, like, you see 14-year-old Ellie with the Last of Us 2 like graphics and engine.
I like that.
Um,
Yeah, because they could have
I don't
easily
know
have
if
just,
that's
they could have easily have just used the same footage again. But that's
yeah.
kind of cool.
I don't know if it's going to be like a playable segment or a flashback, or if it is just a recreated part. But it looked really cool.
I like it. No, that's fantastic. I really hope Joel actually teaches you to play the guitar. Like, I
Well,
genuinely want that.
he has got the guitar in one shot. He does have a guitar out.
Oh,
But
I love that. I'm
yeah,
very excited.
um, yeah. From what I saw, some people on Twitter. Luckily, I have so much stuff muted now on Twitter, so I can't get spoiled. But apparently, there is like um, a big element that they are purposefully missing out, like leaving out,
Hmm.
like character wise. Like there are characters who play a big part in the story apparently that aren't featured in the trailer.
Oh, right.
And some people are like, "Oh, this is clearly you're just scared to show this person because it's going to be awful." I just think they're doing it because they just want to keep the focus on Joel and Ellie, probably.
I mean, it makes
You
logical
know?
sense. They are the main characters in the story. Like, why
Yeah,
would you reveal who else you have? Like, for example, it was the same thing with David being in the game of the first one. Like, nobody
yeah,
knew that was Nolan North until like the credits hit. That kind of
yeah.
surprise. So
Mm,
I completely don't blame them. And obviously, with the leaks and everything, it does have its toll on it. Again, even with
mm,
the leaks, whatever happens, happens. I don't know. I'll react to it once I've played it. You'll hear it on here, I'm sure.
mm.
But yeah, I'm.
Essentially, yeah. What they were saying is like they've basically left out who like the villain is, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm super pumped for the trailer. It was very like cinematic esque, like it almost played out like a movie trailer, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the most like because a lot of games are doing that now, aren't they?
Yeah, but it looked really cool. I'm very excited to give it a try, and
Well,
even some of the stuff that I have mildly heard about from these leaks has actually got me almost more interested because now I'm like, oh, how does that happen?
okay.
You know,
Well, it's about a month away, so
that's the thing. It's so far away.
it'll be here very, very shortly, I'm sure.
Get
Speaking
scared
of,
anytime you never search Last of Us for the next month and
oh
a
yeah, I'm
half.
not doing that. Screw that.
No.
I'm even scared to type it on our document.
Could
But
you imagine? It
speaking
auto
of,
like you say you spell The Last of Us wrong on Google Docs, you go to autocorrect it,
oh no,
and it gives you a spoiler.
oh god no. But speaking of various games, Microsoft recently hosted an Inside Xbox event on Thursday, which revealed a
Yep.
few games coming to the Xbox Series X, which and the certain games which were included were Dirt 5, a new game called The Medium by Team Blooper, I think it is, or Bloomer, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Madden 21, The Ascent, and various other little indie games which we also saw. This was a very small event. It wasn't like the big E3 event. That apparently is coming in July, where you're going to see more first party stuff as well as the big third party stuff. So expect your EAs, your Ubisoft, etc., and your
Well,
Cyberpunk
they
there.
said they were going to show they said they were going to show off Halo in July, didn't they?
Yeah, well, it's all
They made a
first
big
party stuff, isn't it? So
yeah,
Halo will be there. You'll have Hellblade there as well, which we did see a picture from.
yeah.
But yeah, what did you make of the Xbox event?
I thought it was rather pants. I got to be honest with you.
Oh god.
I knew it was probably going to start off with like some of the smaller stuff. You know, nothing against indie studios, but I was expecting, and I kind of it is like my own fault because I think people need to have their expectations in check, maybe a bit better. But there was that rumored list of stuff that might get shown, and on it was like WB's Montreal's new game, Rocksteady's new game, maybe a Saints Row, and we just got a lot of nothing. I think it was a lot of announcements, but a lot of it was more. They were showing a lot of reveal trailers, but because of that, you didn't really see a lot of what it was about. It was more like, here's the mood of a game, and here's the title. You know, like there was that thing that they showed that looked exactly like Prometheus or Alien.
Oh,
You know?
Scorn.
Yeah, and they showed that, and I'm like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I feel nothing watching this. Like, what is this? Like, I can't be excited until I know what this is.
I
The
generally
only
thought
thing
it
that kind of
was. I generally thought it was a
I thought it
sequel
was
to
Alien.
Alien. Yeah.
I thought everyone, because I was watching it, and the live chat was all saying, "Oh, Alien, Alien, Alien," and then it just wasn't Alien. Yeah, the only thing that kind of caught my interest besides AC was the Medium one, which was like the weird psychological thriller one.
Well,
That's the only one where my eyebrow pricked up a bit.
that's the thing. I personally, this event was kind of disappointing in the sense that obviously we haven't had anything in regards to next gen for a really long time. So obviously somebody like them announcing this event got everybody really excited. But
Yeah.
obviously everything else is going to be in the July event. Personally, I didn't really see the point of this. You might as well have just hosted the July event in July. There was really no need.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like these games could have just had their trailers dropped randomly. Like it really made no difference.
Yeah. And I get that. I understood that a lot of the stuff they were going to show, because a lot of launch title stuff are basically almost like tech demos.
Yes.
That's what you get with a lot of launch games. So I expected that, but a lot of these didn't even show gameplay.
That's the thing. I like,
and the ones they did, like that Yakuza one.
Oh yes.
I'm sorry. If you want to show off next gen graphics, that wasn't the thing to use, because that game could be great, but that looked like something from the 360 era. You know,
that's the thing, because obviously these games are mainly meant to be third party stuff that they're showing, but when you think third party, you do think bigger studios, and it's kind of weird that obviously they've all pushed back to July. So obviously, I personally was expecting Cyberpunk to show something, but we didn't get that. So I presume we'll get that in July.
Well, they've said July. CD Projekt Red have said they're doing Night City Live, or a Night City, like a Cyberpunk event on June 11th.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, so June 11th, we're definitely gonna see something there. Probably either a new trailer or a demo or some sort.
Well, that'll be very exciting to see.
Yeah.
But like we say, other than really the Medium, which is coming out on Xbox Series X and PC, it is not on PlayStation, by the way. The music.
Well, I guess I'll watch it on YouTube.
The music, my friend, is going to be composed by the Silent Hill composer. I'm going to completely butcher his name. Akira Yamamoto, something like that. But that does make me very excited, because this game actually looks very intense and terrifying. What did you make of the Medium?
Well, it looked different. I'm trying to just remember. I only watched the only time I watched it was during the event, so I'm trying to like remember it. But didn't it have something to do like someone's baby died?
Yes, yeah, it was something to do with
like
the baby.
A church burnt down, like a church kind of Thanos snapped or something, didn't it?
Yes,
it kind of like fell apart. Yeah.
So I gathered it was going to be something to do with the baby. So it was going to be the blend of maybe Beyond Two Souls and Stranger Things. That's the kind of vibe I got.
Yeah. It looked like something almost like a Remedy game, didn't it?
Yeah, I definitely agree about that. It does have that Remedy vibe to it. It does have the same vibe as Control.
A weird Alan Wake vibe.
Yeah, which is a really good point. I am excited for it. It is a smaller studio who did Layers of Fear. Never played it. And they also did the Blair Witch game. Never played it.
Which apparently is all right. I would like to give that a go when it goes cheap, because I love that film.
Yeah, the film's quite good. I do agree. But I'm genuinely excited for this. However, like I said, it is only coming to the Xbox Series X, which is an awful name for a console, but that's a completely other topic.
But
and
the thing
PC.
is, right, it's like, what I feel bad for, it's like, I mean, we're going to get it, we're fine, but say you're like a mum, and your kid's like, oh, I want the new Xbox Series X for Christmas. But the mum's like, yeah, okay, whatever. She walks into like Game, and they're like, oh, I want the Xbox. They're like, oh, do you want the Xbox One X or the Xbox Series X? And she's going to be like, you know? And I'm not saying it could be a dad too. I'm not saying it's just mums, but I'm saying it's like a very confusing title, you know?
Yeah, no,
why you would make it sound so similar to the console you just released.
that's I do definitely agree that the branding name for it is very strange. I mean, it could be that they're gonna do various different series in the console's life, or maybe when the
Yeah.
next gen comes out, it'll be like Xbox Series X B or something. I don't know,
Mm.
that sort of thing. But I don't know why it has this name. It's very strange. Like it could go down the whole, similar to the Pro naming of like the Max style, where it'll be like Xbox Series X One, Xbox Series X 2A, whatever. Like Mac, like iPhone does it.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
just don't know why they're so scared of numbers. you know? Like, so you had Xbox 360, Xbox One, and then Xbox Series X. Like, there's no consistency.
maybe
Just call it the Xbox 4.
maybe it's called
Like,
the Xbox SX because sex sells.
mm.
They're just gonna have somebody holding it in the nude in some random porno in the background.
Controller in between the legs, and
Exactly.
then holding the console over the chest. Yeah.
Brilliant. But
Oh.
slightly moving on. During the Xbox conference, we did get a gameplay trailer, which I say with quotation marks, for Assassin's
Yeah.
Creed Valhalla. Now, this seemed to have pissed off pretty much everybody because it
Yeah.
wasn't really gameplay. It was a cutscene potentially from the game. And personally, I think it's absolutely ridiculous that gaming companies are claiming stuff like this is gameplay when it certainly isn't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, this is exactly kind of what I expected because ever since like AC3, I remember when AC3, like way when that got announced, they said we're doing a gameplay trailer for it like in May, and then it came out and it was exactly the same as this,
Mhm.
where it was, and it is gameplay. It's just been taken from like a free camera. I do think it was worded badly. It should have been maybe in-game first look, or maybe something just like that, or just keep it as Assassin's Creed Valhalla first look. You know, um, and I do think there was maybe like I think the day or two before this event happened, they said it's just a teaser trailer. You know, not a demo. But I think way at the start, they weren't very clear enough with what it was they were actually going to show, because they were saying, "I'll get your first look at the gameplay this day." You know, they never said the word gameplay demo, but it did definitely give off like the wrong impression, I think. So I get why people are upset about it,
Yes,
but
I
yeah,
I totally agree with you there. I think mainly the annoyance comes from during the Xbox event. They did keep being like, "Oh, look, we're gonna get our first look at Assassin's Creed Valhalla" to keep people watching. And then
mm.
obviously, as we know from the comments, people did not enjoy it. They were very
Yeah.
negative.
Well, I don't even. I think it's purely because it was just a trailer. I don't think it had anything to do with the content of what the trailer was. I think if they just retitled it like that like to dislike bar you saw like would be completely like the other way around. You know, um, because the game looks really cool. It looks really good. Like graphics wise, it's looking like a big step up. Um, I knew it wasn't going to be amazing because it's cross gen. You know, it has to kind of bridge that gap. So the next AC game, that'll be the big next gen looking one. But from everything we saw, it looks really good. It's definitely, like I said, they've done gameplay trailers before, where it's been very, and they've always been like this. But they usually have like a bit of like a voiceover or something saying kind of loosely what the story's about. Whereas this was just like footage of the environment to music. I think I would not be surprised if they put out something in the next couple weeks to try and make up for it. But they have said Ashraf Ismail said you're going to see gameplay, soon. You're going to see lots of gameplay soon.
You see, I would be excited for it, but I've been burnt before.
You're like Hawkeye in
Yeah,
Endgame. You're like,
man.
don't give me hope.
Don't give me
Don't
hope,
give
my
me hope.
friend. Don't give me hope. Until I've seen proper gameplay and actually a glimpse into the story, I'm not sold. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And Speaking of other big time games, CD Projekt Red Cyberpunk, which is releasing in September, has a new feature that I've never seen in any other video game in my life, which is that you will be able to customize your own genitalia. That's right. Even your breasts, even your butt. You can do it, my friend. How about them apples?
I think the closest we ever got was in Saints Row.
Oh, yes, I
I know
remember.
in Saints Row you could like adjust your size, but that was about it. That was as far as it went. If you could actually create your own, that would be amazing.
Oh, God.
If you could actually create what's there, that would be interesting. You're going to see like some elephant, trunks and all that kind of stuff. If you could actually really do that.
The thing is, like, I generally worry if someone's parents buy them this game. Like, damn. Like,
I think it's going to be similar to what they did in the Saints Row, where you can just increase the size or decrease the size.
you don't reckon you're going to actually see it?
Potentially, I don't know. Well, didn't you say you could do something in first person?
Yeah, so apparently you can have sexual pleasure in first person during the game, which again is very odd.
You're not. Some people aren't going to be leaving their rooms.
I presume it's not going to be like in Grand Theft Auto where you can hook up with a prostitute. I presume it's going to be a bit more graphic.
Potentially, I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to do that. I think I'd just feel uncomfortable, honestly.
I don't know. I've never seen anybody try and do this.
I'd be like, does this count as cheating? What is this?
That's a very good point. But no, what I can say is, if you have fantasies, it's been delivered, my friends.
Oh, definitely.
But no,
it really is.
It is.
But this is interesting, though.
This game is going to be dark, man. Like, the amount of topics it's trying to focus on.
Do you think we're going to see Keanu Reeves?
Oh,
genitals,
man. I presume you can get, like...
He's like, here they are, and they're robotic, like his arm.
Do you reckon you'll be able to get enhancements? So, like... Yeah, so, like, when you're doing it, will you be able to, like, take a pill and, you can go for longer, or, take some mechanical instrument, intense pleasure
for extra pumping action.
I don't know. Can you have both?
Potentially.
There you go.
Well, they said you could. Well, did they say you could be gender fluid?
I didn't know you could do that. There you go.
Well, I don't know. So who knows? You know what? I've got like a question, and it's actually separate. Well, it's different, but similar topic. It's on Cyberpunk. But I remember this happened like a few days ago in The Witcher 3. Siri, have you played The Witcher 3?
I absolutely love The Witcher 3, and yes, I have.
Yeah, but there's a bit where Siri talks about the cyberpunk world, Night City.
Oh yes, yeah.
So, do you think we could see Siri in this? I wouldn't be surprised if it was like a little side quest and someone looks like her.
I mean,
do you think we're going to get maybe like a little cameo?
I could definitely
see. They'll outright say this is her.
I could definitely see a cameo, or maybe something like you find Geralt's sword or something like that. I could see something along those lines, or maybe you even find his medallion. That could be cool. But yeah, no, I could definitely see a Siri cameo in some way, like even as a side quest, which will hopefully be really cool. Do you reckon we'll get the futuristic version of Gwent?
That's the big question. I never played Gwent. I think I gave it a try once. I couldn't figure it out, and I'm like, I'm done.
I'm terrible at it. I do hope,
go back to killing Griffin.
That the futuristic version of it, if it exists, is like Yu-Gi-Oh!
It's time to duel!
I would love that. I play my troll in defense mode.
When I was a kid, I collected Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, and I never played it.
Whoa, dude, that ain't cool.
I had a giant lunchbox filled with them. I thought the whole point of it was just to collect them. I don't think I ever played.
See, I only learned how to actually play like 2 years ago. Because it used to be like, because in the anime they would just not follow the rules. Like the amount of times Kaiba would just pull out Blue Eyes White Dragon out of his ass, and I would just be like, "What? That doesn't make any
Blue Eyes
logical
White Dragon.
sense." Like, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I can't. Why does he become an adult? Why does he go from a kid to an adult? Do you know? I can't
Oh,
remember.
do you know? No, basically the Millennium Puzzle is like possessed, I would say, by the ancient pharaoh, who basically lives
Right.
within the puzzle. And when he wears the puzzle, and the pharaoh takes over his body, and essentially it's still Yugi, but the pharaoh Yami Yugi, as he's called, is the one who's actually playing the game. They're basically like interconnected.
Oh.
It's actually really cool, but it's really weird.
Oh.
Also, they put the Fate on the World on a children's card game. So
Yeah.
it's very confusing. The plot line is insane.
Yeah. I mean, it's Japanese, isn't it? I mean,
That's true. Did you know it's a
can you
Konami
name
product?
one anime? Oh,
Did you not know that?
I did not know.
There you are.
But I don't know. I don't think that I don't think I've ever seen just a chilled Japanese anime anything.
There are a few out there.
That didn't involve like someone being possessed by an animal, or I don't know, someone with spiky hair, or someone like can fire electricity out their ass or something. I don't know.
There's a few out there. There's a few just normal life ones out there where it's just like, everyday kid goes to school, falls in love, that kind of stuff. Really. There's just a lot of different.
That shows how much of an uncultured swine I am.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's the thing. The thing that's always been great about anime is that they have so much like concept ideas that is actually thrilling. The amount of ideas they can come up with, and obviously because it's animated, even though it's very hard to animate and to draw, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of time. It doesn't mean like you don't have to have like you don't have to go out and shoot in the middle of New York because you can just draw New York.
Do you think we're going to see any anime in Cyberpunk?
Yes, 100%.
Do you? Because I just look at anyone in that game, and I'm just like, you look like you're from an anime.
Oh god, it's going to be exciting. I'm very excited.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm praying it doesn't get delayed again.
That's the thing.
Because we're supposed to be playing it right now.
Yeah, because it was meant to come out in April, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully the delay has been good enough, and then it's going to be ready to ship. It does suck because September feels like an age away.
It does.
But if you do buy it on the Xbox One, you get it on the Xbox Series X via smart delivery.
Do you know if the PS4, PS5 is going to do the same thing?
No idea.
I feel like it is, right?
No idea. Nothing's
been. Them saying there's going to be a lot of backwards compatibility. Even then, I think I said it wrong. But I know they said they're trying to make up for that because that was a big thing with this generation, wasn't it? How you could play a lot of 360 stuff on the One, but PS3 you couldn't play a lot, or if anything, on the PS4 you had to get PlayStation Now.
I think with the PlayStation 5, you'll definitely get PS4 backwards compatibility. I think that'll definitely happen. PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1, maybes. PlayStation 3, no way. It ain't happening.
Yeah, because I know they said you can play the PS4. No, Last of Us on the PS5.
Yeah. The main reason why I don't think the PlayStation 3 will be backwards compatible with the PlayStation 5 is just because the architecture is completely different. Because the PlayStation 3 was a bitch to develop for, to the point where Metal Gear Solid 4 has never been ported to anything else because it was solely just made for the PlayStation 3. Yeah, because the Metal Gear games have come out on Xbox in these series formats and everything, as a collection.
Yeah,
but Metal Gear Solid
an HD collection.
But Metal Gear Solid 4 is not part of that because Metal Gear Solid 4 is just solely made for the PlayStation 3. Unless they figure out some way to emulate it, you ain't getting any PlayStation 3 compatibility. It ain't happening. It's a bitch. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh.
But
is that everything?
I believe that is everything. Let me have a double check on the news for you in case anything has dropped while we have been on the air, my friend. Let's have a look, shall we?
I am on the edge of my seat.
That's about everything.
That's about everything.
You can cut that part.
No, maybe, you know what? Maybe I'll leave it in. Who knows?
Well, there you are. That's how unprofessional we are, apparently.
I like how we talked about Cyberpunk for about a minute, and then we went on this whole Yu-Gi-Oh tirade.
Hey, it happens. We don't plan
Yeah.
these things out. We're uncussed.
Yeah. But yes, thank you for listening to this episode of the AMB podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed us talking about genitals and Cyberpunk. And leave your thoughts on the topics we discussed about in the comments. Still trying to work on getting the podcast on iTunes and stuff, but it should be there very, very soon. If you follow us on our socials, you'll get updates on that. If Birkin has one by then, who knows? Until then, we'll speak to you guys next week.
Adios, amigos.